I'm Mayor Jonathan Elmore, and I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening for the ribbon cutting of this great project. It's a long-awaited, momentous day, but we'll get back to that. But I'd like to, I do this a lot, I'd like to start with how we got here and what this project means and some of the key people behind it. So in the 1920s, George Willis bought a dairy farm. With his vision to create an American version of Stratford-upon-Avon. He and his wife had taken a trip there and were just really impressed and wanted to replicate that here. And a big part of that vision was a vibrant downtown with walkable streets, right? And some of that got built in the Tudor Village, in nice big wide sidewalk out front, adjacent parking, beautiful architecture. But then in 1932, the Depression happened and everything halted for quite a while. That spilled over into World War II, not a lot happening. And then after the war, we kind of became a car culture. So streetcars got replaced with cars. And more cars mean more lanes, right? And so our little Main Street had kind of very quickly become a suburban highway of sorts. With kind of pieces of sidewalk everywhere, lots of curb cuts to get into parking lots. And, it's kind of where we are right now. But as early as 2004, North Avondale Road was called out as a key part of future downtown development. And in 2014, it was identified as a key improvement project in our downtown master plan. So the city began pursuing a grant to fund a road diet and received that grant. But a little later, not long after I was sworn in, the board felt like a road diet might not work. And we, myself included, full disclosure, we decided to leave all the lanes intact and just, do some sidewalk work, streetscape enhancement, traffic calming, that sort of thing. But then something happened. Our family went on a road trip to Pittsburgh, which is where my wife is from, and we stopped a lot along the way. It's a road trip, and a lot, back roads and small towns, and we kept driving through these towns that had main streets, with just 2 lanes, in this vibrant downtown, and I just kept driving through these towns thinking, what are we doing? I mean, we made a mistake here, because it looks like to me we can make this happen, that it will work. And I think everybody wants this. We want a main street. We don't want just a highway with glorified sidewalks. And so I was pretty inspired. And I came back and I talked to board members about it. And we all agreed that I would appeal to the GDOT commissioner to see if we could reverse that decision that we had made. And so we asked for a meeting with the Georgia Department of Transportation Commissioner Russell McMurray, and he accepted. And so I went there and I said, look, I think we've made a mistake here. You had approved a road diet, and then we kind of went back on that. I said, but I really think we need to rethink this. I understand you're trying to get people from point A to point B, but we got a town here, and it's a pretty great town. And we want people to slow down, stop, take a look. So I said, I think we deserve a main street. And I emphasized that we want to have a street that's safer for pedestrians and cyclists and drivers. And I said the word safety a lot. And, I don't know if it was the power and the eloquence of my argument, or the fact that the DOT had already approved the project and then we reversed it. But he said, well, we'll take a look at it. And it sounded pretty positive. And so the DOT did come out and do some more traffic counts and road studies and so forth. And they said, yeah, this is going to work. And we massaged the design a little bit, I believe. But we reversed that decision, and here we are today. I don't pat myself on the back much, but I'm pretty glad I did that, because I feel like once these kind of decisions are made, you're not going to unmake them for a long, long time. And I felt like we needed to make the right decision and have a street that we were all proud of, that we could call Main Street. And really, more importantly, that would kind of better connect our city. Instead of having this big road dividing us, we need a road to bring us together. So that's kind of where we are right now. So what does all this mean? Well, as I said earlier, I think I said this earlier, I think this is the most transformative project in the history of this city since it was founded. And I really believe that. This project will run from Ashton Place, which is just a little beyond City Hall, all the way down to Sam's Crossing. And the scope of the project is to take what's a 5-lane highway that divides our city center and convert it into a main street that brings our city together and supports not just automobiles, but also pedestrians and cyclists. This project puts people first, right? And it's designed to be a pleasant and safe and beautiful passage through our fair city. This project will be the backbone for further smart growth in Avondale Estates. It will encourage folks to get out of their car, take a stroll, shop, dine, hang out, discover. And this will encourage development and innovation, which in turn will diversify our tax base. Now, while it won't happen overnight, it will happen. As we like to say, if you build it, they will come. And I do believe that. We've already seen an uptick in interest in Avondale since we started talking about this project. And we ourselves have already invested in a key piece of our vision, Town Green, right here. So this project will make Avondale Estates more visible and, yes, more competitive in a growing Atlanta metro market. But this project really is about quality of life. More than ever, we realize the importance of creating spaces where we can gather, walk, bike, and be together as a community. Now, construction will be trying at times, but we are confident in the benefits of this project and that they will far outweigh the temporary annoyances. And we do have a plan to constantly communicate progress and access workarounds with businesses and residents via email, social media, and face-to-face conversations. And we do want to thank you in advance for your patience. Now, we owe a great debt of gratitude to a number of folks. First, I'd like to thank the Georgia Department of Transportation and Commissioner Russell McMurray. And I would like to thank several key DOT leaders in particular, Kathy Zahold, Andrew Heath, and Paul Denard. Without their leadership, I can guarantee you this project would not have happened. So let's have a round for them. I would also like to thank all of my present and past fellow board members, in particular Dee Miriam. Dee championed this project before she was commissioner and certainly voted every time to support this project and offer her expertise as a city planner and a landscape architect to keep it on track, and we appreciate that. So thank you, Dee. And I'd like to thank our former Mayor Pro Tem, Brian Fisher, who was there pretty much every step of the way, and again, just keeping things on track, voting yes, and just pushing the project. So thank you, Brian. And I'd also like to thank Second Century Avondale and some of the members here, Susie Dieters and Lisa and Dee. Second Century Avondale was a group of citizens. A lot of them were landscape architects, urbanists. And they really worked tirelessly to articulate the value of this project and build consensus in our community. So let's have a round of applause for Second Century. And I'd like to thank our residents who stood behind this and advocated for this project. And lastly, I'd like to thank all of our businesses for working with staff on this project. And again, thank you for your patience in advance. Appreciate it. So now I would like to introduce Dave Dieters, the chair of our Downtown Development Authority. And Dave is going to speak about this project and the DDA's efforts to reinforce the health of our businesses during construction. Thank you, Dave.
Good afternoon. So, for those of you that came of age in the 60s or 70s, you may remember a comic hero named Popeye the Sailor Man. Popeye was a good dude, but he was flawed. And he would inevitably get himself into some kind of fix or jam. And to get out of that jam, he had to transform himself into his very best self. And the way he would do that is he'd eat a can of spinach. And he'd eat a can of spinach and he would immediately transform and he would deal with whatever the issue was and get himself out of the problem. And if, like me, you came of age then, you may not have cared for spinach very much, as I did not, but I ate a lot of spinach because I wanted to transform myself into the very best possible person I could be. Folks, we're about to eat 18 months worth of spinach. But it's going to be worth it. I'd like to talk about, just for a second, what it is we're going to transform into and why it's so important. I think the mayor very appropriately hit on the points of, having a real Main Street, a street that is safe, it slows traffic, but it's inviting. It's going to be an inviting gateway into our businesses. It is going to encourage people to stop and explore our businesses. And it is going to not only invite, but it's going to be safe for our residents as pedestrians to cross over and visit our businesses. This is very important. Our business success are really important for so many reasons to the viability and sustainability of our community. When I can recall what really motivated me to join the DDA 7 years ago is the balance of tax dollars in our city were roughly, if I recall correctly, 97% residential and 3% came from the commercial district. And I'm not an actuary, but that couldn't be sustainable. And we've made a lot of investments, and I thank all those that led those investments, and the Town Green is clearly going to be transformative. But I'm happy to report that we're now more like about 23.5% commercial and 76.5% residential. That's clearly moving in the right direction. It's not where we want to be, but the trend is it's unmistakable. And so the success of our businesses aren't important just for the business's sake. They're important for the sustainability of our city, and that's a really big deal. And I think the safety aspect, I think any of us that have tried to cross 278 have experienced that it can be scary. And we need to have it safe for pedestrians. We need to have it safe for cyclists. We need to have it safe from cyclists, because cyclists often are a little bit of the issue in a couple of places. And we're going to have crossings that make that all kind of go away. So I really believe, as the mayor does, that this is going to be as transformative a project as we have ever done. This is a big, big deal, and it's really important. But it's also important that we support our businesses during the next 18 months of eating spinach. We have got to keep them going, and it's going to be difficult because the construction is going to be messy. So we have launched the SLTD, or Shop Local Throwdown. And this is it's a game, all right? We've tried to gamify encouraging our residents to support our businesses over the next 18 months. So take a look at the map when we're all done, and you're going to see that we've divided the city up into 15 teams. And each team is going to have a team captain. So the idea is whichever team accumulates the most receipts from a downtown business in any given quarter is going to get a big party. And I don't mean some Ritz crackers and free water, a real live, let's have some fun party. And we're excited about this. We're not judging just on spend, it's just frequency. So it's number of receipts. You'll be able to submit your receipts to your team captain electronically if you get an e-receipt, or there'll be boxes on their front porches and you can drop hard copy receipts in. Very, very easy to participate. All we're trying to do is encourage all of us to support our businesses during what, could potentially be a pretty difficult time. So with that, that's about all I got. Thank you very much. And I think, Shannon, you know what? I'm glad you followed me because that reminded me. I think, again, Jonathan, you did a great job of thanking all the appropriate people. I like to, sometimes people behind the scenes really need to be called out. He called you out, Dee, but you were pro road diet before pro road diet was cool. And that had a lot to do with it. But Shannon Powell, behind the scenes, countless hours working with our businesses alongside 278, trying to figure out curb cuts and trying to figure out where the construction is going to be and how it's going to work. The hours you put in, we're grateful for. So thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Patrick Bryant. I'm the city manager. I'm joined by Shannon Powell. All right. Yes. Powerful. Yes. This is such a powerful project. It knocks the shovels down. But I'm joined by our assistant city manager and the executive director of our Downtown Development Authority, Shannon Powell. And if you all just give us a second, we'd like to talk a little bit about our experience with this project, which has been a decade-long labor of love. As the mayor had pointed out, with the help of Second Century Avondale and spearheaded by our local residents, vision and planning for this project started more than 10 years ago. The initial funding for the project was granted to us 9 years ago. And I want to let y'all know how complicated it is to move forward or to move through the process of getting to where we are today for projects located on state routes that also have federal funding backing it. The process for obtaining approvals involves many professionals across multiple organizations. And all of it has to be done in a set order. So let me take some time to extend some thank yous and acknowledgments to the partners who have helped us along the way. This is a team sport, and all of these folks that I'm about to mention were crucial to making this project happen, and the project would not have happened without the participation and support of each and every one of them. First and foremost, I want to thank the Atlanta Regional Commission. They've been an unwaning partner. They've provided not only technical assistance, but loads of encouragement and critical funding, especially critical funding at the later stages of this project, which allowed us to move forward now and not have to wait any additional time into the future. Also, 25 years ago, ARC implemented a program called the Livable Centers Initiative, or LCI, as you see on our board here. That program has transformed communities around the Atlanta region, changing the vision, the mindset, and priorities from the suburban sprawl development pattern that the mayor referenced was the in vogue pattern during the 50s and 60s in America to one that prioritizes downtown centers, pedestrian traffic, and bicycles. The LCI program started with planning grants and then tied those plans to funding opportunities. The impact of that program can be seen throughout the metropolitan area when you look at cities like Alpharetta or Sandy Springs. And prior to the LCI program, streetscape projects like the one we're about to embark on didn't get funding. They weren't big enough. They were the responsibility of the local government, and there was not enough local dollars to get them funded. This project's no different. The funding that came through the ARC was tied to our LCI Downtown Master Plan. So a huge thanks to ARC, their leaders, past and present, and the staff that manages the LCI program. I also want to extend our thanks to the State Road and Tollway Authority, or CERTA, as we have referred to over the past decade, who awarded the city a $1.5 million grant to act as a match component to the federal dollars we received through GDOT. And of course, this project would not happen without the love and support of the Georgia Department of Transportation. The project not only depends on GDOT for funding, but also design review and project management. Projects like this can touch the desks of staff from the most senior person on down to the person who was just hired. We've had several stellar project managers over the last 5 years who have met with us on a regular monthly basis to move this project forward. We want to extend our appreciation to our current project manager, Rodney Levette, who has joined us today for his support, guidance, and commitment to keep the project on track. Rodney, please wave. Where is Rodney? He may have gotten stuck in traffic. That's a shame. At times, a dozen different people representing different departments at GDOT were involved, and they will continue to be involved with us every step of the way, tracking not only how the funding is spent, accounting for all of that, but also tracking the project and monitoring its success throughout completion. So please join me again with a big hand for our funding partners.
Well, I'm going to follow up with a few folks that truly live with me day in and day out, it seems. I started in 2020. This was one of the first projects on my plate. I don't think there's a day that's gone by that I haven't had something that needed to happen that's associated with this project. But it also involves so many professionals that have such a phenomenal expertise, and it just wouldn't happen without them. So I want to take some time to thank a few folks here. First of all, Stantec. We've got a few folks here from Stantec. They are the design team. They've been with you for a very long time, even before I started, and they've done a phenomenal job. The way this works is they started with the concept plans. We then went on into construction plans, and when they got that far, we had to go back and talk to every single property owner down the road, and then they had to come back and do it again. So for their incredible patience, thank you to the team at Stantec. A few folks on that. First of all, Stephen Hopper, who is here today. Stephen, thank you. Donna Lloyd, who's the engineer on the project. I don't think Donna joined us today, but still, she's critical to this. She's my go-to person. She solves problems like nobody's business. And then Mark Sweeney, Mark was with me for the last 4 years and has transitioned away from Stantec, but because he spent so much time with this project and so much patience, I couldn't stand at this podium and not recognize Mark, so thank you, Mark. I've done a lot of these streetscape projects in Midtown, but the one thing I don't usually where I've really never done, is have to purchase right-of-way or acquire right-of-way. That's new for this project because of the way it was designed and what needed to happen. And we had a partner from BMK that joined us with that. I want to thank Mickey Majunkin. Mickey's here today. I know when we finished right away, she was going, thank goodness, we're finally done. I called her every day. She had to walk us through, and then I called her again after we were done. So thank you, Mickey. And to some of our newer members, now that we finished the design and we've finished right-of-way, we now go into construction. And while Stantec will continue to work with us as we do design review, we've got new members of our team. I want to thank IP Construction, Richard Jimenez, who's going to be is going to be working with us day to day, and Mauricio Salazar. Both of them have joined us here from IP Construction. I think we're super lucky. when you do these, you go out for a bid, it's a low bid, you don't really know who you're gonna get. And I can tell you, I've done enough of these projects so that I know when I've got somebody good. And so I'm thrilled to be working with them. I know we all are. Thank you, guys. And to the team at City Hall, both the BOMC now, we don't do this without you guys. To the DDA, again, thank you for your support on this. And to the staff, there are several of us that will continue to be a part of this. This is certainly a group effort on our part, and so I want to thank those of you that both have already contributed and will continue to contribute as we go into the next 18 months. I'm hoping that we're back here in 18 months, with no extra days, and we will be popping the champagne to celebrate as we cut the ribbon on this project. A few things so that you know what to expect. I hear somebody questioning that 18 months. The road will begin on June 20th is when you're going to see, if you're out there, one of the challenges right now, you're also seeing DeKalb County out there, but you're going to see also the screenings and other things that are going to come up as part of this project as we mobilize over the next several days. June 20th is our date for truly getting the equipment out and starting the construction. The first of this project, I know, will be actually more difficult than maybe some of the projects as we go through, so patience. I beg for patience. The project is due to be completed in early 26. They're going to start on the south side of the project. So up at Sam's Crossing on the south side of the project, they're going to come down this way to Ashton Place, cross over Ashton Place, and come back up. So that's the direction and the guidance that they'll do that. There's also some work on South Avondale, and so I'm not exactly sure where that falls in the schedule, but we'll be communicating that as we get a little more clarity as to exactly where you're going to be when. We already have our website up. Thank you, Ellen and Danny, our new intern, who got it in last week and have gotten us up to date. So you can go on now, you can see the project, you can see all kinds of stuff that we've talked about today. What we'll be doing is we'll be updating the schedule and giving you kind of a 2-week look ahead and accomplishments as we move forward. So that's kind of our go-to. So if you're interested in where we are, that will be an effective way to find out without having to talk to one of us personally. To our residents, thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for your patience. And please participate in our DDA Throwdown. We need you. It'll be a lot more fun if you participate. So thank you again. Let's go build something.